Hey, welcome to the kitchen. Today I felt like doing something different. Let's make some bread. Alright, the first thing we need to do is get our yeast going. So I'm using an active dry yeast. And I'm just gonna stir it up in a little bowl here with some sugar and some flour and some water and stuff. Now, I don't know that measurements at this stage are really all that important. Maybe 1 scoop of sugar is plenty for this stuff. Maybe 1.5 scoops. That seems okay. Yeah, and then same thing with the flour. I don't know how much we need. Guess about that much. And we're going to add a little water. And we're going to stir it up. So I've never really made bread before, but I've read some articles about it, and I watched a couple people on YouTube make bread, and one of the things you run into is that there's all these rules and regulations and shit for bread, mostly invented by the French. They think they got a monopoly on bread. Well, I'm gonna bet that if I just don't follow most or all of those rules and just kind of make this up as I go, bread's probably going to come out just fine. People have been making bread all over the world for thousands of years, and I'm sure most of them had never heard of the French rules for making bread. Seems to work out okay for them. Alright, I'm going to cover this up for a while. I'm going to let that sit there for some time to, think about life. Alright, this has been sitting about an hour. Let's see how we did. Oh man, you can smell that fermenting. It smells like I'm brewing beer in here. That's awesome. Alright, most of the bread recipes I've seen call for about 3 cups of flour and 1.25 cups or so of water. I'm not sure if that accounts for the water and flour that's already in the yeast starter. So we're just going to kind of eyeball that part. Now I think we just kind of add flour, so this seems okay. It's one cup or so. Alright, one more good heaping cup. Screw it. Alright. It raises an interesting question. When does it stop being soup and become dough? Answer, right about now. Nah, it's still pretty sticky. I think it could stand to be more dry than this. Oh man. You know what I forgot to do? Forgot to add salt. You're not supposed to make bread without salt. Alright, 1 teaspoon of salt. Alright, I think it's time to get in and get dirty with this. At this point, this dough is really wet still, but it's starting to build up strength as I stir it and kind of work up the gluten fibers or whatever's supposed to be going on in there. And it's getting hard to stir with the spoon. I guess it's time to start working it by hand. Yep, man, what a mess. Alright. Hopefully this is enough flour to kind of dry this out and get it to do its thing. Okay, so what have we learned here? I think we've learned that we pulled the shit out of the bowl too early. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Yeah, now we're starting to get there. This is starting to look like bread things I've seen people do on TV. It's still a little sticky. Maybe just a little more flour. I have no idea how much flour has went into this at this point. Probably more than 3 cups. I must have used too much water to start with. They say you're supposed to knead your dough till you get that window pane thing. So, well, let's see. Well, okay. I don't know if I'd call that window paney, but it's certainly stretchier than it was a couple minutes ago. Still awfully sticky, though. I'm gonna give this a couple more minutes kneading it around, and maybe put a little more of this in here. I've been kneading the hell out of this for, I don't know, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Not really keeping count. But I've been kind of adding flour in, and it's a lot less sticky than it was. And the dough is a lot stronger than it was. You can see, I'm not 100% sure about that whole window pane idea. But it's got some real stretch to it now that it didn't have when we started. It's got like a structure. And as far as I'm concerned, I think that's probably pretty good. Maybe it could be a little better, but I'm tired of kneading it. Now it's time to set it aside and let it rise. So, back into the bowl it goes. And it needs to rise in a kind of warm place. So what I've done is I've preheated the oven, but then turned it off. It was at 350. It's been off for 10 minutes now. It's probably pretty cool in there and getting cooler all the time, but that should be good to kind of make this happen. And now we wait. All right. Yeah, I'd say that's more than doubled. Holy crap. How are we going to get this out of here? That ain't good. Alright, I think it's about time to put this in the oven for real. I'm going to bake this at 350 degrees for 30-35 minutes, and we'll see what we get. Alright, it's been 30 minutes, half an hour. Let's see how it looks. Well, it's certainly gotten bigger. It doesn't look very cooked, though. I was expecting it to be like brown and crusty, and that hasn't happened yet. I think I'm going to raise the temperature up to 450 and give it another 5 minutes. And I think at that point, I don't know how much longer you can cook it before we're we're not making bread anymore. We're making hardtack. All right, here's an idea. I'm gonna rub some butter on it and then put it back in. Maybe that'll help. I mean, who doesn't love a buttery crust, right? That's probably been in there long enough. Man, it sure smells good. I didn't really get the kind of deep, rich, browned crust I thought I was hoping for, although putting the butter on it really helped a lot in that respect. Now we just need to kind of let it sit and rest for like an hour and cool down and finish doing its thing internally. For right now, it doesn't look that bad. We've got kind of a nice medieval peasant loaf going on. This has been allowed to sit and cool for more than an hour. I think it's as done as it's going to get. It's kind of squishy on the bottom, which is a bit of a surprise. Now I'm worried it's not cooked in the middle. Yep, that's bread. Alright, so it looks pretty good. It's certainly going to be a dense, heavy bread. It's nice and spongy. It is pretty moist inside too. I do kind of wonder if maybe I couldn't have left this in the oven just a little bit longer. Of course, the real question is, can you eat it? Yep, you can eat it. So the crust on top is nice and buttery. I'm real happy with that. The bottom could stand to be a little crustier. I was hoping for more of this thick brown crust all the way around. The bread in the middle is nice and chewy, which is good. That's kind of what I was looking for. Of course, with nothing on it, it doesn't have a ton of great flavor. All in all, I'm pretty happy with it for make it up as you go bread. I think next time I'm going to do things a little differently, but we'll have to save that for another video. Alright, a little butter on here, blackberry preserve. So I hope you found that interesting, and I'll be right back here in the kitchen with another video just as soon as I can. See you then.